After the company successfully went public, at the celebration, my wife promised to reveal our marital status. The moment she raised her glass, my hands trembled slightly with excitement. But the next second, she publicly announced, Marcus will be the new vice of the company. Suddenly, everyone's gaze in the room shifted to me. The smile on my face gradually froze. Someone asked, what about Vice Michael? Him? After my wife calmly glanced at me, Michael has been fired. I was stunned for several seconds, unable to process it. I was fired? I thought this celebration was where I would get what I had always dreamed of. To take the company public, I worked tirelessly, dedicating my heart and soul. But in the end, I became a laughingstock and a fool in everyone's eyes. My gaze was like a nail, fixed firmly on Grace. Meanwhile, the handsome young Marcus stood up and smilingly proposed a toast to everyone. Thank you, Ms. Grace, for your trust. I believe after removing certain bad apples, the company's future will be even brighter. Someone couldn't help but speak up for me. Ms. Grace, I don't understand why you fired Vice Michael. His contributions and efforts are clear to everyone. The company's success wouldn't have been possible without him. Before this person could finish speaking, Marcus coldly looked at him and forcefully interrupted, You're fired too. Why? What did I do wrong? The man glared at Marcus. Questioning the boss's decision is the biggest mistake. What the company needs is teamwork, not individual heroism. After finished speaking, he immediately called the hotel security to escort the man out. Marcus proudly scanned everyone. From now on, anyone who defies me, defies Ms. Grace. Such people are pests, and I will kick them all out. Everyone exchanged glances, silently fuming. After calming myself, I stood up and stared at Grace, asking, Is this your final decision? Grace avoided my gaze. She merely nodded indifferently and hummed an acknowledgement. As you wish. I turned and left without a moment's hesitation. In truth, when Grace announced Marcus was taking my position, I should have left then. I just couldn't accept it. 6 years of dedication reduced to nothing. Anyone would find that hard to swallow. After getting home and having a few drinks by myself, I suddenly felt like a fool. To have so willingly believed Grace's words, and for a full 6 years. Just then, Grace, in a black dress, with a flushed face, returned home. I didn't think you'd come back. I glanced indifferently at Grace. She didn't speak. She just walked over and snatched the bottle from my hand. I thought she was worried about me, but she merely calmly explained to me. Marcus and I made a promise. Once the company went public, the vice position would be his. Hearing this, I couldn't help but sneer. What right does he have to be vice? He gave me $10,000 when we started the company, Grace explained. Before I could reply, she added, firing you was also one of his demands. But don't worry. He's just playing around. In a few months, when he gets tired and doesn't want to play anymore, I'll let you come back to the company. Grace's words made me laugh until tears streamed down my face. After I stopped laughing, I looked at her coldly. Grace, what do you take me for? Your dog, to be summoned and dismissed at your whim? Grace frowned slightly. You're a grown man, can't you be a little more mature? I arranged it this way simply to fulfill my promise to him. Hearing this, I abruptly stood up and glared at her. You remember your promise to him, but you throw my promise to you out the window? These past 6 years, I nearly worked myself to death, also you could hold your head high. But what about you? You humiliated me at the celebration, and let that good-for-nothing publicly insult me. Facing my roar and bloodshot eyes, Grace's attitude remained cold. Michael, I haven't forgotten my promise to you. I promise you that once Marcus is done playing around, I will announce our relationship to everyone. I stared intently at her. A moment later, I gritted my teeth and said, There's no need. Grace became somewhat impatient. I heard her give a cold snort. Don't keep pushing my limits. I said after Marcus is done playing, I'll make our relationship public to the whole world. I shook my head with a cold laugh. This belated charity meant nothing to me. Instead, it felt more like mockery and sarcasm. Anyone with eyes could see, between Marcus and me, she unhesitatingly chose Marcus. If she truly loved and cared about me, she definitely wouldn't have let me be publicly humiliated. I picked up the bottle and took a long swig. Grace, our time together is over. Let's get a divorce. I'll assume you're drunk. We can talk when you're sober tomorrow. Grace turned to leave. Just then, the doorbell suddenly rang. Immediately after, Marcus's voice came from outside. Grace, it's me, Marcus. Open the door. After walked over and opened the door, Marcus suddenly rushed forward and tightly embraced Grace. Grace hesitated for a moment. In the end, she didn't push Marcus away. I told you to drink less. Why did you drink so much? Grace asked, with a hint of reproach. Grace, I'm happy today. You fulfilled your promise to me, and I'm going to fulfill my promise to you. Grace was momentarily stunned. What promise did Marcus have for her? Why did she have no recollection? Just then, Marcus suddenly cupped her face, then leaned in and kissed her red lips. She wasn't prepared for it. When their lips met, she finally reacted. She was just about to push him away when Marcus's tongue had already parted her lips. Crack! Just as Marcus was lost in the kiss, the bottle in my hand smashed heavily against his head. Ah! Marcus cried out in pain and collapsed to the floor. Half of his face was quickly covered in blood. Michael, what the hell is wrong with you? Grace's face changed drastically after her initial shock. After yelling at me, she quickly knelt down to help Marcus up. Michael, you dare hit me? I'm going to call the police and have you arrested. Marcus pulled out his phone, about to call the police, but Grace snatched the phone from him. Grace. Michael didn't mean it, there's no need to call the police and blow this out of proportion. But he hit me on the head with a bottle. Marcus pouted aggrievedly. He touched the blood on his face, then showed it to Grace. I did hit you on purpose. With that, I called the police for Marcus. What are you doing? I already stopped him, why are you still calling the police? Grace looked at me in disbelief. What's my relationship with you? Why are you helping me? Faced with my questioning, Grace was speechless. A moment later, she asked coldly, why are you so stubborn? Soon after, the police arrived. I was taken away and given 7 days in detention. During that time, Grace wanted to visit me. The police also told me the person I hit had signed a letter of understanding. I could leave early, but I didn't. I stayed in the detention cell for the full 7 days. After I got out, Grace sent her secretary to pick me up. She also had the secretary bring me a cupcake, with a note attached. Michael, I'll be home tonight to cook dinner. Have a cupcake first. After reading it, I threw it, along with the cupcake, into a roadside trash can. I didn't take the secretary's car, I walked home. I just wanted to get some comfortable sleep first, but under the pillow, there was a pair of men's underwear. One look was all it took, I knew it wasn't my style. Besides, I didn't have a habit of stashing underwear under my pillow. Without a doubt, whose men's underwear it was self-evident. Looking at that bed, I suddenly felt a wave of nausea. After returned from work, she was carrying a lot of groceries. Seeing me at home, she smiled and walked over, trying to kiss me, but I pushed her away with my hand. He paused, then her smile returned. Look, I bought your favorite shrimp and clams. Eat plenty later. I didn't speak. Grace put on an apron and started cooking. When it was time to eat, she handed me plates and silverware, but I handed her a copy of the divorce papers. Grace didn't read it closely, but her expression subtly changed. Michael, that's all in the past, why are you still upset? Can't you be a little more lenient with young people? I gave a self-mocking laugh. How do you expect me to be lenient? Leniency for you sleeping with him? And on our marriage bed? Grace instantly flared up. She slammed her chopsticks onto the table. Michael, don't spread lies. I've always been faithful. When did I ever sleep with Marcus? Do you want me to get Marcus's underwear from under the pillow and show it to you? The moment I said that, Grace was silenced immediately. A moment later, she explained, Michael, that night, he and I just had too much to drink, but I promise you, that was the first and last time. It will never happen again. Sign it. Divorce. Must we divorce? Yes. I just made a small mistake, and that outweighs our 6 years of feelings? I will leave with nothing. Hearing my words, Grace picked up the papers without hesitation and scrutinized them. After confirming again and again that I wanted nothing, she signed without hesitation. Michael, you're the one choosing to leave with nothing. I didn't force you. Don't come crying to me later. Watching's expression change faster than flipping a book, I suddenly felt like my 6 years of effort had gone to waste. Such pretense. Taking the divorce papers Grace handed me, after confirming her signature, I stood up to leave. Wait. Yes? I turned my head, raising an eyebrow. After all, you did dedicate a few years to the company. I bet you don't have money for a ride, do you? With that, Grace took out her phone and Venmoed $1,000 to me. Take this money for transportation, food, and to rent a place. Looking at the transfer on WhatsApp, the $1,000 felt particularly stinging. I never expected that after the divorce, she wouldn't forget to humiliate me. Keep it for yourself. Too little? Grace folded her arms, letting out a cold snort. Honestly, you haven't done that much for the company over the years. Don't always think the company can't survive without you. And don't overrate your own importance. Without you, the company can still reach new heights. Seeing his arrogant demeanor, I gave a cold, despairing laugh. I'd like to see how your company reaches new heights without me. I turned and left without the slightest hint of lingering attachment. A woman whose heart had changed was not worth another glance. Just as I left the house, my phone buzzed. I hadn't had time to leave the team chat. In the team chat, Marcus, now the company's vice, at everyone. After removing Michael, this bad apple, from the company, its future prospects will be even better. From now on, no one is allowed to mention this person again. Otherwise, you will be fired. After he finished speaking, Marcus then specifically at me. All the management in the chat replied received. Clearly, everyone knew I was still in the chat, including Marcus. They also knew Marcus was doing this to humiliate me, to establish his authority. Fool. I at Marcus directly and replied. The next second, Marcus immediately replied, Michael, why are you still in the chat? Are you so shameless you're clinging on? Do I have to kick you out? You're asking for trouble. With that, Marcus immediately kicked me out of the group. Immediately after, Grace then sent me a private text. Marcus needs to establish his authority, please understand. After reading the message, a cold smile played on my lips. Stepping on my head, establishing authority by humiliating me? How interesting. Then, Grace sent another message. Michael, you didn't take your personal belongings. Come over and pack them when you have time. I simply replied, throw it all away. Question mark. Grace sent a few question marks, indicating confusion. Michael, how old are you? Why are you still acting like a child? Your personal belongings didn't offend you. I'll have someone pack them up for you. Come and get them when you have time. I replied again, I find them disgusting. Before could say anything else, I immediately blocked her. Soon after, Grace called. Michael, are you crazy? We just got divorced, we didn't become enemies. Do you really need to block me on WhatsApp? I gave a cold laugh and asked, do you know why I didn't block your phone number? Why? Do you think there's still a chance for us? Grace asked. You're overthinking it. I was just waiting for you to call so I could tell you myself. The moment you condoned Marcus humiliating me, we became enemies. Grace immediately scoffed. Why are you so childish? What's with all this talk about enemies? Is it really as serious as you're making it sound? I couldn't be bothered to waste any more words on her. I hung up and blocked her right then and there. That night, I went to a bar I hadn't visited in a long time, where I happened to run into Luna. We locked eyes and shared a smile. Luna, I never expected to see you here, I said, surprised. I come here every night. Huh? Later, chatting, I learned that she had come every night since I brought her here 8 years ago to have a drink. When I asked her why she was so persistent, her eyes, slightly red-rimmed, stared at me. A moment later, she finally smiled brightly, Michael, because I've been waiting for an answer. Hearing this, I paused. My mind instantly recalled 8 years ago, the scene of this bright and charming woman confessing her feelings to me. We were childhood sweethearts. At the time, I didn't explicitly agree or refuse. I had long forgotten about it. But I never expected this foolish woman to have thought about it for a full 8 years. Luna, I'm sorry. The truth I'm already married. I thought she would be greatly surprised. To my surprise, she simply nodded calmly. I know, your wife is Grace, Ms. Grace of Quantum, the renowned most beautiful CEO in the industry. I looked at her in astonishment. Only a very small number of people knew about this because Grace and I were secretly married. But how did she know? One tends to pay special attention to the people and things one cares about, Luna explained. Immediately after, she then smiled, I forgot to tell you, I'm also one of Quantum's shareholders. When did you become a shareholder of Quantum? Because of you, of course. Me? Yes, you're the vice of Quantum, and with you personally steering the company, I naturally felt confident buying a large number of shares. My heart stirred, and I asked, there's a mysterious big player in the market who's been continuously buying Quantum shares, is that you? Yes, I bought over 10 million in total. Hearing this, I smiled. I stood up and gave her a big, firm hug. Luna's face flushed with shyness. Be careful, your wife might see. It's fine if she sees. You don't seem like the type to mistreat his wife. I divorced her. Oh? When did that happen? Although was puzzled, she was mostly delighted inside. Just an hour ago. Why? After I explained the reasons, she was so angry she almost smashed her glass. Isn't this like being used and discarded? You worked so hard to push Quantum to go public. Just as you were about to reap the rewards, she heartlessly kicked you out. I let out a long sigh. I was blind. Michael, Do you want me to lend you my shares to manipulate quantum stock price? Luna hit the nail on the head. I didn't hide it. I nodded, admitting it. Exactly. I can personally take quantum public and create a rags to riches story for Grace. And I can just as easily pull her down from that pedestal. Before I could even ask Luna to lend them to me, she nodded in agreement. All right, I'll lend them to you. I don't care about profit or loss. I just want you to get some serious revenge. You have to show that foolish woman, with undeniable facts, that abandoning you was the biggest mistake she ever made in her life. Seeing indignation on my behalf and her strong support, I suddenly felt a pang of regret. I was truly blind back then, to have missed out on such a wonderful woman. Luna and I drank until midnight. After taking her home, I found a hotel to stay in. The next day, after confirming the quantum shares Luna held, I had a journalist friend spread some negative news about quantum new vice, Marcus, his questionable lifestyle, his fabricated impressive resume, and hinted to a wide range of shareholders that Marcus got his position through connections, when in fact, he had no experience or ability in company management. Moreover, Marcus was already young. As soon as these rumors came out, although Quantum PR department responded quickly, they were still a step too late. As people frantically sold off quantum shares on the stock market, some small investors couldn't sit still. They didn't dare to bear excessive risks and losses. The slightest sign of trouble would make them sell immediately. In just one morning, quantum stock price dropped by a fifth. Of course, this was just a small ripple. Many people still maintained a wait-and-see attitude. This group consisted of bold and careful speculators. To get them to sell, it would require a major blow. In the afternoon, Luna called me. Michael, my brother has already communicated with the bank. They will recall their loan to Quantum early, as you requested. Luna, please thank your brother for me. As long as you get your revenge, I'll cooperate with you unconditionally. Thank you. After hanging up, I informed my journalist friend of this news. Before the market opened in the afternoon, when this explosive news broke, the stock market was rattled. Shareholders rushed to sell quantum stock. Quantum stock price rapidly plummeted. The bank manager personally led a team to Quantum to recall the loan. Inside CEO office, Marcus angrily smashed the ashtray on the floor. With a crash, ashtray fragments scattered everywhere. He glared at the bank manager, his eyes bloodshot. On what grounds are you recalling the loan early? We've carefully evaluated the situation. Quantum Vice is an inexperienced young man, and we are very concerned about the company's prospects and future. So, after much discussion, we decided to recall the funds to minimize potential irreversible losses. Marcus found such a ridiculous reason unacceptable. He immediately roared at the bank manager, "You're going too far. I've already signed a gambling agreement with Mr. Arthur of Horizon. As long as quantum stock price breaks 80 within 2 months, Horizon will honor the agreement and form a strategic partnership with Quantum. And they will also inject $10 billion into Quantum. Your recalling the loan now will only cause immense losses for both of us. Our preliminary estimate is that the bank will lose at least $100 million. Can you shoulder such a massive responsibility?" Grace gently patted Marcus's shoulder. Her eyes signaled him not to be so impatient. Then, she said in a deep voice to the bank manager, "Quantum prospects are obvious to everyone, and we've been cooperating for so many years. Quantum has always strictly repaid its loans within the contractually stipulated time. I don't know what exactly you're concerned about." The bank manager smiled. "Ms. Grace, someone is targeting Quantum, you must be aware of that, aren't you?" Grace and Marcus's expressions subtly changed. "Because of this, you decided to recall the loan early?" Grace asked. "Yes, if Quantum collapses, our losses won't be as simple as $100 million. Ms. Grace, I hope you can understand my position as an employee." Marcus asked, suppressing his anger. "Stock price fluctuations are normal. Banks want to make money, they can't expect to take no risks at all, can they?" The bank manager just smiled without speaking. Grace narrowed her eyes and asked, "If President were still here, would you still recall the loan early like this?" "Certainly not." The bank manager replied without hesitation. "How am I inferior to Michael? My education is superior to his, my vision is sharper, my courage is greater. As long as I secure the investment from Horizon, Quantum will reach new heights. Just give us 2 more months, and I can prove to everyone that I, Marcus, am 1,000 times better than Michael. What he can do, I can do better. What he can't do, I can still achieve." Looking at Marcus's bloodshot eyes, the bank manager stood up and said bluntly, "In terms of composure alone, you are miles behind Vice Michael. You Marcus never expected the other party to insult him so openly. When we originally agreed to cooperate with Quantum, it was because we trusted Vice Michael. Now that he has left Quantum, it's as if the cornerstone of our mutual trust has crumbled. Our bank will not take on massive risks to continue cooperating with Quantum. You have 2 days to repay all loans. Otherwise, we will, as stipulated by the contract, release Quantum mortgaged shares onto the market. The bank manager left with his team. Grace immediately chased after him. If the bank releases Quantum mortgaged shares onto the market, Quantum stock price will plummet like a cliff dive. At that point, it won't just be us incurring losses. The bank manager gave a helpless smile. I'm sorry, we need to cut our losses. Wait. Question mark. If I can get Michael to return, will your bank continue to honor the contract? Of course, that wouldn't be a problem, but on one condition. Can you still persuade Vice Michael to come back? I can try. We'll await your good news. After the bank manager and his team left, Grace immediately took out her phone, preparing to call. Marcus rushed forward and snatched the phone. How are you doing? I forbid you from calling him, but right now, only he can save Quantum. No. Marcus angrily smashed the phone on the floor. After saw her phone shattered, her face grew cold. Marcus also realized he had been impulsive. He walked up and tightly embraced Grace. Grace, please trust me. I can definitely bring Quantum back to life. What can do, I will definitely do even better than him. He paused. Marcus's tone softened. If you call Michael now and beg him to come back, that would be telling the whole world that I, Marcus, am incompetent. How could I ever face marrying you? Mr. Arthur of Horizon and I have a good relationship. If I ask him, he should help me. Grace sighed. I hope so. After the market closed in the afternoon, Quantum stock price suffered an unprecedented blow. But to completely destroy Quantum, it needed one more push. Luna called me. The bank had gone to Quantum to recall the loan, giving them a final 3-day deadline. If Innovations couldn't produce the funds, the bank would liquidate its mortgaged shares. And this was the final push I needed. 3 days. Just 3 more days, and Grace would pay the price for her betrayal. That evening, Luna and I were drinking at the bar. Grace called me from an unknown number. After I answered and heard her voice, I was about to hang up. Grace quickly said, Michael, don't hang up. Do you need something? My tone grew cold. Luna, sitting nearby, guessed it might be Grace calling me. She gently put down her glass and sat quietly beside me. Something's happened at Quantum. Oh? Someone deliberately targeted Quantum, the bank is recalling its loan, and Quantum stock price plummeted by 30% in a single day. Now the entire company is in a panic. The bank manager said that as long as you're willing to return to Quantum as vice, they will honor the contract. Hearing this, I merely said, oh, Michael, Quantum is the fruit of both our efforts. It's like our child. How ca? And you bear to watch it collapse? Hearing this, I couldn't help but scoff. Grace, now you remember Quantum was my brainchild? That's not what you and Marcus said when you kicked me out. Grace lowered her stance, pleading, this is my fault. Marcus is young and impetuous, severely lacking in experience. As long as you're willing to return, the vice position will still be yours. Marcus will be demoted to your assistant. I could tell Grace's words carried another layer of meaning. After Marcus was demoted to my assistant, I could exact revenge for the humiliation Marcus inflicted. Unfortunately, Grace still underestimated me too much. Not interested. I hung up the phone immediately. Michael, was that your ex-wife calling? Luna asked. Yes, begging me to come back as vice. That foolish woman, she doesn't understand you at all. After she kicked you out, even if she sent a red carpet and parade to bring you back now, you wouldn't return. I smiled at Luna, raised my glass, and said, you really do understand me. The next day, I continued to dump Quantum shares onto the market. Originally, with my strength alone, it would be difficult to destroy Quantum in a short time. But today, another mysterious force also joined in. Although the number of shares the other party sold wasn't large, they kept selling. It didn't stop from open to close. I suspected this person might be Grace, but I quickly dismissed that speculation. Someone told me that Grace had been frantically trying to find people to save Quantum these past few days. But it's easy to add to success, hard to help in dire straits. Grace thought it was her diligence and hard work that brought Quantum to where it was today. How could she know all the connections were mine? Quantum without me was like a body without a soul. Just her and Marcus, who knew nothing. It was impossible for Quantum to continue. Even without my covert targeting, Quantum collapse was only a matter of time. Grace couldn't find funds to inject into quantum, and the bank was worried its shares would become worthless. So, on the third day, at market open, the bank began selling large quantities of quantum shares. The following days were quantum disaster days. The bank, plus that mysterious force, all three parties moved in unison. In less than a week, quantum stock hit its daily limit down. When innovations faced liquidation, Grace found me. She shed her usual aloofness, and after losing the aura of the most beautiful CEO, she now looked like an ordinary woman at her wits' end, staring at me, her eyes red-rimmed and her face exhausted. Quantum has fallen, everything is as you wished. Are you satisfied? Extremely satisfied. The smile on my face grew wider. Before could speak, I then asked curiously, by the way, where's your highly educated, more capable Vice Marcus? Grace's face changed dramatically. Ever since quantum stock price plummeted, Marcus had vanished. She hadn't been able to reach him. Foolish woman. Seeing remained silent for a long time, I couldn't help but curse. Grace was about to erupt. I snorted coldly, do you really believe Marcus had the ability to lead quantum to new heights? Are you out of your mind? When innovations faced a crisis, he secretly cashed out your quantum shares and ran off. And you were still foolishly kept in the dark. What's the difference between you and a fool? Grace's face instantly turned ashen. She yelled at me, a look of disbelief on her face. Impossible. Marcus went to Mr. Arthur for help. He'll definitely come back to save quantum. Seeing still choosing to believe Marcus even at this point, a sense of frustration involuntarily rose within me. I wondered what spell Marcus had cast on her that she trusted him so implicitly. It wasn't until I showed her a video of Marcus being taken away by the police as he was about to flee the country by plane that she finally believed what I said. Marcus had really betrayed her. Why did this happen? Gra. Says tears streamed down like a spring. She couldn't believe that the man she trusted absolutely would betray her so easily. This is what happens when you treat others the way you treated me. Others will treat you the same way. I paused. I told her what had happened over the past few days. Learning that I was the one who targeted quantum, her face was filled with shock. You have nothing. How could you possibly target quantum? Who said he has nothing? Luna, who had been sitting at the next table, stood up and came to sit beside me. He has me. Who are you? Luna. I don't know her. You might not know me, but you've heard of the family, haven't you? You're part of the family? That's right. Luna nodded. Grace looked at me, stunned. So what's your relationship with him? We're childhood sweethearts. Huh? Grace was bewildered. A moment later, Grace sneered, Michael, I can't believe that after divorcing me, you'd be content to be a kept man. You used a woman to bring down quantum. What's there to be proud of? Michael was right to call you a fool. Luna pursed her lips. She paused. She asked me curiously, Michael, you were married to her for so many years. Did you never tell her your true identity? Grace froze. Her eyes fixed on me. What other identity could you possibly have? Michael is the sole heir to the group. Luna answered for me. What? You're the heir to the group? Why did you never tell me? Grace's face was filled with shock. You chose to keep our marriage a secret. You said not to make our relationship public. I was just following your wishes. I shrugged. Michael, you jerk. Grace furiously stood up, intending to splash coffee on my face, but reacted quickly. She stood up and blocked the coffee with her back, shielding me. When I called you a fool, I might have actually overestimated you. The bank was willing to take a loss just to force quantum to repay its debts, selling off quantum stocks at rock bottom prices. Didn't you ever wonder why? It's because Michael promised the bank he would cover all their losses. She paused again. As I helped Luna wipe the coffee from her clothes, she smiled faintly and said, but was merciful. At least he left you a house. If it were me, I wouldn't just leave you in debt, I'd make sure you slept on the streets. Grace left in despair. Some time later, Marcus was sentenced to 11 years for his crimes. Quantum went into bankruptcy liquidation. Grace sent me a text message. She asked me to come home. I replied, that's your home, not mine. Afterward, Grace stopped texting me. A few days later, the hospital informed me Grace had attempted suicide at home by overdose on medication. She nearly lost both her life and the babies. When I rushed to the hospital, Grace was perfectly fine. As soon as she saw me, she immediately rushed over and hugged me tightly, tears streaming down her face. Michael, I know you still love me deep down. I know I made a mistake. Please don't leave me. I'm pregnant with your child. For the baby's sake, please give me another chance. I promise to dedicate myself entirely to you from now on. I pushed her away expressionlessly. I'm sorry, I don't love you anymore. And I'm getting married soon. Hearing this, Grace stared at me blankly, her voice trembling as she asked, that woman, Luna? Yes. You don't want me or the baby? That's yours and Marcus's. The baby is yours. Grace roared. Don't bother me again. I turned to leave. Grace, looking distraught, rushed to the window. If you walk away, I'll jump. Do whatever you want. As soon as I stepped out of the hospital room, Grace's heart-wrenching screams and sobs echoed from inside. Michael, I hate you. Grace really did jump. But her death didn't stir much emotion within me. Afterward, I returned to assume my identity as the heir and smoothly married Luna. Thank you for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Please share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.